Hi everyone, William here with the Grand Duke Dmitri 1917 Diary Series. It is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon here, Pacific time, so there's a bit of interference from the sun. I shouldn't have held my hand up because now you can see this sort of slow degeneration of my wardrobe. This is one of my favorite shirts, but I lost the button the other day, and then the pocket is giving way, but oh well. You will have to forgive me for my slovenliness. Okay, so the last diary entry was a very interesting one, not only because of this Dmitri admitting that he sent this quite effusive letter to General Baratov to try and persuade General Baratov not to insist upon Dmitri leaving the British legation, but also that he wrote a letter to Missy, and the letter, and even sent her some photographs of himself, although he half assumed that she would throw them in the garbage. But he talking about this moment that they had together in 1908 when he was 16 and she was in her mid-30s, and remembering it so fondly. And I included some supplemental material in the form of Missy's own description of what happened to her mother. Not what happened to her mother, but a description in a letter she sent to her mother about what had happened and about this great discrepancy between her very negative, very disturbed, supposedly experience in this encounter with Dmitri versus what Dmitri seemed to look upon years later still as something really special and mutually enjoyable that they shared. And the two accounts just could not be more different in tone. And I asked myself, when I was, after I'd done the video, I asked myself, well, why do I automatically assume that Missy's account was the correct one? You know, maybe she did lead him on. Maybe they did have some kind of mutually pleasant and enjoyable physical encounter, even if it was just kissing, you know, and maybe she was embarrassed when it all came out, and I don't know, you know, it's just, it would be bizarre, wouldn't it, for Dmitri to feel like all these years later, he still is talking to her about it because it was so great. That would be really bizarre if, you know, if what had happened was that there'd been a scandal and he'd accused her of leading him out. I'm sorry, I'm still obsessing about this, so I shouldn't be talking about this one anymore. Anyway, moving on. What we have today is two short diary entries, Monday the 9th and Tuesday the 10th. Pretty uneventful, but interesting as always, so here we go. Monday, 9th October. Bird left for Yassi in the morning, and old Napier for Hamadan. After seeing them off, Lady Marling and I went riding. It's become surprisingly nice to ride in the morning. Sometimes you bake in the sun, like at home in July, but there's no heaviness, and the air is so light. After lunch, I went to the bazaar with both Marlings. I love to walk through it, those endless passageways beneath brick arches. It's the only place that corresponds with the pictures your imagination paints when you think of the East. The Marlings wanted to buy a carpet, but didn't find any to their taste. I dined at Solo that evening at the Yevrenos. Etter and Baturin were there. After dinner, we played bridge. It was a nice, cozy evening. Yevrenov plays bridge like an old boot, ! Okay, just quickly. Bird was this British diplomat who was being sent to Romania, which is why Dmitri gave Bird this letter to Missy. And Napier, another British diplomat, was going to Hamadan, which is where, apparently, where General Baratov was. Apparently, he'd moved from Kazvin to Hamadan. All right, here we go. Tuesday, 10th October. In the morning, I went riding with Lady Marling again. We went to Khazar Kajar, where we had a look at the gardens and summer house of the commander of the Persian Cossack Brigade. It was surprisingly nice. The horses behaved splendidly. We returned for lunch, and I spent the afternoon at home. At 5, I went to the Evrenovs. I needed to talk to him about money, about which I have already written. He promised to arrange it all. Old McLean dined at the Marlings, and we played bridge. In general, despite my emotional anxiety and absence of peace of mind, the days passed peacefully and sometimes even very pleasantly, a thing that could only be possible here. All right, let's see. So this love of the exotic Dmitri had, he always had high expectations when he went to someplace in the East, or actually even, for instance, when he went to Scandinavia, and he was a little disappointed because he thought Copenhagen looked like a German, just sort of an ordinary German city. Yeah, so it's not surprising that the bazaar is his favorite authentic place in Tehran, and that will continue throughout the diaries. He loves to go there. The whole thing makes me question, not the bazaar thing, but this would be the routine that Dmitri and Lucia Marling would have, is to go out riding every day, either in the morning or the afternoon. It makes me wonder what she did before he was there. Did she go out riding on her own? Or, yeah, it'd actually be interesting to know what she did, because she has slipped right into this daily routine that's centered around Dmitri's presence. Good hostess. Okay, interesting that he's socializing alone with the Russians. Clearly, there is contact between the Russians and the British, and the Marlings just recently had invited the Russian diplomats for dinner at the English legation, and we saw a previous instance where the Marlings and Dmitri went for dinner at the Russian legation, and but Dmitri is also doing some one-on-one socializing with the Russians, which is not surprising. He was Russian, they were Russian, they were spending time together, right? But Turin, he mentions, all of these people are diplomats, except for the Evrenovs. So Turin, McLean, all these people he's mentioning, they are diplomats. The Evrenov works for the Imperial Bank of Persia. He's the one who is going to arrange, or try to arrange, this loan for Dmitri from the bank. And it's funny because these two diary entries, they're really nice. Let's not begrudge him having a nice time. It just, it's kind of like, tra-la-la, no worries, no worries. The money will be arranged, and so on. And yet he had informed us, after what had happened on the 6th, the 5th or the 6th with the gambling, that he'd been emotionally prostrated for 4 days. Well, the answer to that seeming riddle is that he wasn't writing this on these days. He was writing these daily entries he wrote about 10 days after they happened. So he was, the emotional register was different from how it was when these things actually happened. Okay. He seems happy, which is nice, because so often in the diaries of any year, he's really not a very happy person, but this is so good for him, being with the Marlings for a while and being outside of things for a while. I really don't begrudge him that. Well, not that I have a right to begrudge him anything. Okay, but his life was better, I think, for the moment in Persia than it had been in Russia for a while. I would say largely because he's not, he's not leading a dissipated life in St. Petersburg. He's with parental figures that he's very close with. And anyway, what do we have next time? Well, we're really shifting gears. We're skipping forward 9 days to the 19th of October to another long diary entry. Dmitri hasn't quite gotten into the swing of things yet, of how he will do it in later parts of the diaries, as far as really 10 days, then 7 days of short diary entries, then 10-day summary. 10 days of short diary entries and a 10-day summary. Anyway, we're going to another one of the long diary entries, and we are going to see some very astute observations about what's going on in Russia. And this is not the silly Dmitri, or the Dmitri who's spending his time at the gaming table. This is the Dmitri who was quite a keen observer and really invested in what was going on. And so we will be taking a look at that. So I hope you'll come back, and I'll see you then. Bye.